Hello, in this OpenGL video, we're going to show you how to set up OpenGL using SFML and GLEW on a Mac. If you're interested in SFML and GLEW on Windows, don't worry, we'll have a separate video covering the setup for that, so feel free to check that out. So first of all, what is SFML? It's the simple and fast media library. It basically allows us to do stuff like create a window to render our OpenGL 2. That's what we're going to be using it for. You can use it for events such as keyboard events, mouse events, that sort of stuff. It has gamepad and joystick events built in as well. You can use it for images, text, so you can use it for texturing. You can use it for a bunch of stuff. It is a pretty cool framework. And GLEW, which is OpenGL Extension Wrangler, it's a really easy way to use OpenGL extensions, essentially using anything that's not any new OpenGL method or function it allows you to use, and it's a great way of, instead of you having to include the individual files to use new OpenGL methods. I believe anything above OpenGL 1.0 you need something like GLEW, and like I said, you just set it up and you don't have to do anything else, and you'll just sort it out all for you depending on your system, graphics card, that sort of stuff. So that's an overview of what SFML and GLEW is. First of all, a few prerequisites. Make sure you obviously have a Mac, that's obvious. Make sure you have Xcode installed. You can just get free from the Mac App Store, and make sure you have a solid foundation in C++ before trying to tackle OpenGL in any form, whether it's this tutorial or any other tutorial, because it's not the easiest thing to tackle OpenGL, isn't it? But it is very, very rewarding. So with all of that out of the way, the first thing you want to download is something called Homebrew, which is a package installer manager for Mac. It's just an easy way of installing packages such as SFML and GLEW. So if you Google Homebrew, and go to brew.sh. Don't worry, there'll be links in the description to everything that you require, so you don't have to just type in what I'm saying. You can just go to the links directly. So if you literally just copy and paste this into your terminal, right click paste. For me, it's saying already installed, so it's not going to install it. But for you, if you haven't installed it, it will install it. If it asks for your password, just put it in and yeah, you'll be good to go. Next, what we need is SFML, and we also need GLEW. We're going to be using the terminal using Homebrew to install SFML and GLEW, so we can actually close this down now. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to type in brew space install space SFML, and it's saying it's already installed. So for you, this should happen. It should install it. Next, what you want to do is brew install, and now we need to install GLEW. So type in GLEW. Again, it's already installed, hence why it is saying this particular error. So once you've done all of this, we're all ready to start creating our OpenGL project. So close terminal down, open up Xcode, click create a new Xcode project, go to OS X, application, select command line tool, click next, name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it SFML OpenGL. And for the language, select C++. For organization and the name and the identifier, you can put whatever you want. Click next. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And now what we need to do is go to build settings. Make sure the target is selected in this drop down. In the search box, type in search. Go to search paths. Go to header, search paths. Double click on the right hand side. Click this plus button, and now you need to type in /usr/local/include. This will allow us to include the header files into our project, into our code. Click enter, and now go to build phases, link binary with libraries, click plus. Now what you want to do is click or type in OpenGL, select OpenGL.framework. This is built into Mac. Click plus again, add other. Now you want to press Command, Shift and G. This little pop-up will pop up. Type in /usr/local. Go to seller. Go to GLEW. Go to one or whatever version you're using. Go to lib, and now select this top one here, libglew dot whatever your version is .dylib. You don't want the one with the arrow because that's just a shortcut, an alias, and you can ignore all the others. Click open. Now click plus again. We need to do the same thing, so we click add over, Command Shift and G, type in the same /usr/local. Go to seller. This time go to SFML, whatever version you're using, go to lib, and now from here there's a bunch of libraries. We're going to be needing the system library, which is this one right here, and we're going to be needing the window library, this one right here. So if you at a later date are adding some sort of SFML networking, audio, or you're using the graphics side of it, then just make sure you add the appropriate library and you'll be all good to go. So click open, and now we've actually set up our project. We can now start coding away. So I'm going to go into here, let's get rid of all of this code. We're going to start again, and to make it easier for you to see, I'm just going to zoom in. Let's try and just get all the black area. Ooh, 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 ooh. I think I can do it. Almost. Oh. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. So now let's start coding. You want to do #include IO stream. We're going to statically link GLEW, so we're just going to do #define GLEW underscore static. If you don't want to statically link it, you can just omit this particular line of code. It's as simple as that. Next, we're going to do #include GL/GLEW.h. Now we're going to do #include SFML/window.hpp. And now we're going to do int main. In here, the first thing we are going to do is SF context settings. Create it as settings, semicolon. And there's a few settings we're going to apply. We're going to do settings.depth bits. We're going to assign this to 24. We're going to do settings.stencil bits. Assign this the value of 8. We're going to do settings.major version equals 3. Settings.minor version equals 3. So what we've done here is set the version of OpenGL to 3.3. If you wanted 3.1, for example, you would change this to a 1. So this number is what appears to the left of the decimal point, and this is what appears to the right of the decimal point. One thing to note is if, let's say, I were to put 4.7, this isn't a valid OpenGL version, because as of now it goes to 4.5. What it will do is try and get the latest version they supported by my computer. So that's just something to bear in mind. So this isn't necessarily explicitly setting it to 3.3. It's more of a hint. It's more saying, can you set it to 3.3? If not, can you set it to whatever you can? So again, just something to note. The next thing we're going to do is settings.attribute flags equal to SF context settings : I'm going to set it to core attribute. So this is just using the core OpenGL, not the compatibility version, which is the old OpenGL. This is all the good modern OpenGL. Actually, I did forget one little thing. After the hash includes, we're going to do a const GL int. We're going to have width equal to 800. Then we're going to have height equal to 600. So you may be thinking, why are we using a GL int, and what is a GL int compared to, let's say, an integer? Well, with an integer, on different compilers, they have different sizes, whereas a GL int is consistent. So it just helps improve compatibility with different computers. Simple as that. So we're going to be using the width and the height anywhere we are using the width and the height of our desired window, whether it's when we're creating our window, whether it's when we're actually creating stuff like OpenGL, whatever the situation is, we'll be using it like so. So what we're going to be doing is sf : window, and for this we're going to put sf : video mode. The first value is going to be width, then height, and then for the final value we're going to put 32, comma, and for the name of the window we're going to put OpenGL SFML, comma, sf : style, : title bar, the vertical bar, sf, it's sort of becoming hard to see now, move it over a bit, sf : style, : close. So this just basically has a title bar and a close button, comma, settings. So we're just going to pass in the settings variable that we created here so we can actually use it to set up our window. So now let's move this over a bit. Yep. And now what we're going to do is initialize GLEW and make sure it's initialized. First line is GLEW experimental equals GL_true. GLEW experimental just allows us to use the modern approach to retrieving function pointers and extensions. The word experimental, don't worry about that, it's just the way it's named, that's all it is. Now we're going to do if GLEW_OK not equal to GLEW init. So we're initializing it within the if statement. If it's unsuccessful, then what we're going to do is std cout failed to initialize GLEW : less than std and line. Now we're going to do return exit_failure semicolon. Now what I'm actually going to do is put a bunch of blank lines so I can actually, one second, yep, so I can scroll up and down a little easier. It's probably best if I put a few more. Yep, that is a big help. So now outside of this if statement we're going to do bool running equals true. We're going to do while running, and now in here we're going to do sf event window event semicolon. I'm going to put while, and in here we're going to put window.poll event, and the event that we're going to poll is window event, and we're going to do switch. I'm going to switch on window event.type, and in here the only event that we're going to check for in this video is case SF event closed colon, and we're going to do running equals false, and we're going to break out of this loop. So now outside of this particular while loop, not the running while loop, the window poll event while loop, we're going to do GL clear color. For the red value, I'm going to put 0.2f, green 0.3f, for blue 0.3f, for alpha 1.0f, space semicolon. What this line does, it just changes the color of the background, because at the end of the day, if you don't have any objects or anything in your screen on your window, it's just going to be black and it looks a bit boring. These numbers range between 0 and 1, 0 being nothing, 1 being fully on, essentially the equivalent to 0 to 255. So it's red, green, blue, and alpha. Next, we're going to do GL clear. I'm going to put GL underscore color underscore buffer bit, and this will just clear our screen, because what you would do in a game loop like this, you would handle any events over here, you would update anything that needs to be updated, clear the screen, then you would draw the OpenGL, which we're not covering in this video, this is just a setup video, and then you would do window.display. This just swaps the front and back buffers, and there is only 2 more lines of code left. Window.close outside of this particular while running loop, semicolon, and return exit underscore success, semicolon. And now we are ready to run this. So I'm just going to zoom out, click run, build succeeded, which is fantastic. And now, yeah, there we go. We have our window running. And if you were to change the height, the width and the height here, it would change it accordingly. I'll recommend, as an extra task, just mess around with these values, change the clear color, remove it, change the width and the height, try and change some of the settings, see what's available in SFML, and just try and learn as much as you can. And another great thing is have a look at the SFML documentation and try and see what you can do with this, because this is a pretty cool way of setting up your window. So with all of that done, this has been the SFML OpenGL GLEW setup video on Mac. Like I said at the start, if you're interested for Windows, don't worry, there'll be a video in this playlist which will cover that. All of the links that we have gone to and you need will be in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on our education platform, sonarlearning.co.uk. There'll be a link in the description to that, along with a final link which will be the source code from every video in this series. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.